You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
You know, I find that an ironic slogan when I have Jennifer Woods on the show. So we're entitled to her opinion. And I just nod my head and go, you.
Oh my gosh, has my husband been talking to you?
Well, no, that's
actually,
every husband. Every husband
no, it's actually a funny thing in my family that you just said. Bobblehead.
Okay. Taylor, you got everything squared away back there?
Yeah, my computer didn't want to come on this morning. Sorry about that. Sorry about the vast listening audience.
The vast listening audience is
my bad.
Hanging breathlessly by their Facebook or phone. And they're like, or YouTube.
I see the comments coming quickly.
Yeah,
they were like,
where is it?
We wanted to hear from Jennifer.
Yeah, no, it's want to hear from me.
Well, you just said.
It's not Mrs. Woods' neighborhood.
Okay, but what did he just say, Taylor, when he started? He said, because really
he said, I'm the best.
No, he said that they were waiting for my opinion. Yeah, so I'm just, and then he started bobbleheading. Remember that conversation?
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, we're going to talk about what the summer plans are.
Good Monday morning.
Yeah, it really
it's
is.
like, stop.
A little early, too. See, in the summer, people sleep in a little bit later. No, you're up at 5:30 with the dawn and all that. Are you really one of these people? Like my wife does that. She gets up really early to ponder and read scripture or whatever else. I'm thinking, God's open 24/7. You can read it midday afternoon if you want. And she goes, well, are you doing that? Hey, look at the time. Anyway, so you got an interesting week. I didn't know if I was going to be on tomorrow. I was going to be in Oklahoma helping out my relative up there, and now everything got postponed. So I'm going to have a regular show tomorrow with Jeff Kelly, a real estate guy who's
my neighbor
and your neighbor. And then we're going to have some of your friends over at Next Step will be here Thursday. And this is like a big week because it was 2 years ago they overturned Roe v. Wade, and they're making a big deal about it in the media and all this other business. But we'll save that for them because we want to talk about what you got going on this summer. Apparently, you're going to be participating in the parade coming up next week and all that. So
yes,
that's going to be fun.
I have never been in the 4th of July parade.
I haven't either. I've helped my son when he was a little bitty and his classmates take part in it, and also in the Christmas parade. And I did all these parades for student council for homecoming, but I never actually ridden in it. And Sandy Mason over at American Legion asked me to join them. I'm very honored by that. You just don't get that very often, a kind of compliment. It really is very kind of it. We're going to talk about the sponsors, then we're going to talk about Harvest House and all the great things that are going on. Thank you to Otto at our place. I was there twice last week. I mean, I guess I need to go get a life or something, but I was there twice, and I'll probably be there. My wife wants me to take her there every time, and twice I've gone by there to see about taking her there, and it was about lunchtime, and so it's a pretty full crowd. Now, I will say that anytime you go there and it's a full crowd, they do move them pretty well. They don't leave tables unbussed. That drives me nuts when I go into a restaurant and they say it's going to be a 15-minute wait, and I see 4 tables with the plate still on them. And I'm like, hey, if you just bust these tables, we'd be having a table. But they really get after it, so I really appreciate that. And also, Gina's, have you been by there yet?
Had it last night, ran into Otto.
Did you now?
I did. We chatted for a little bit. It was really cool. They had Susie and the Sissies playing.
That's right.
It was just, we were talking about how it's just such old school pizza joint place, with TV. It was, I've only had lunch there, so because I work across the street, it's dangerous. Right. I can just order it, grab it, go back to work. But that was the first time I'd actually sat in there for a while. It was really nice, and the pizza was good, and we had the Italian beef sandwich. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I want to try that next time. I had their meatball sandwich last time, and it was really, really good. And I've had a couple pizzas. I've been there about 5 times. You think I don't even have a kitchen, but there you go. So thank you, Otto, for everything you do. I know he's a big supporter of Harvest House.
Yes, he is.
Wild Cigar and Culture, they got lots going on this summer. Usually during the summer, they always have like weekend events. So check out their Facebook page. Say it right, dummy. Facebook page. Check out what's going on this particular weekend. I'll be dropping by and talking with Nathan and Chris later this week. And they got lots going on, as always, with cigar vendors. They're like a must stop for most of these major cigar vendors because their humidor and their place is well known on the circuit, so to speak. So Wild Cigar and Culture, go look at their cigar selection, have a drink. You can watch the ball game. They have it on if it's a nice quiet place. It's not a sports bar, but they'll have things going on. So thank you, Chris and Nathan, for what's going on over there. Also, thank you to Gala and Southern Gem, Fine Jewelry and Gemstones. They're not open today. They're closed on Mondays, doggone it. Everything is closed on Mondays in this town. You ever notice that? There's a lot of restaurants and places that are closed on Mondays. It's like, hey.
I heard one of them is now open on Mondays. So
Which one?
Pandan.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I was told by Megan Swearingen from Next Step, and she doesn't lie. So she must. No. I literally, I don't know. So
it's just interesting because it's like when I first moved here and everything was closed on Mondays, and it hasn't changed. Anyway, but Southern Gym, back to them. Doggone it, they're going to be open the rest of the week and Saturday, and they also have all these services. Robin doesn't really talk about who comes in specifically, but she will say that people will drive to this place from like an hour and a half away. They probably pass in about 10 jewelry stores to get to Southern Gym. So that tells you something. And you can get repairs and get cleanings, whatever else. So there you go. Also, thank you to our friends over at Two Maids, Brenda Ramirez, twomaidescleaning.com/Burleson, 817-764-0733. You get paid, you pay them based on your rating of the service. Plus, they get all these different programs and formats, once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever fits your budget, a one-time deep clean. I always mention about this, people think, well, I don't know if I need it, but my parents might. That's where I think a lot of it, we really get a lot of business from that, because some of us in BNI that use their service, I know the parents use it as well, because, they're getting to that point. Anyway, back to the ads. Also, All Pro Roofing with John Williams, 817-734-2756. Now's the time to get your roof inspected. We're not going to have rain, it's apparently, for the next couple of weeks, so he'll have some time to come out, and it doesn't cost anything, and he'll tell you the truth about your roof. Need repairs, don't need repairs. Need a new roof, don't need a new roof. You're not going to get the upsell and the doomsday scenarios and all this other stuff. So he's going to come out and check my roof sometime in July. I've already talked to him about it, and so... Boy, that's a young man's job, though, going on a roof in July. So.
No, thank you. I don't even want to go outside in July.
Yeah.
That's No.
Well, you've been in Alaska and up in the north for quite a bit the last couple of years in this. So
it's messed me up.
Yeah, it has. It's spoiled you a little bit.
No, it really, 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 really has. So it's kind of funny because I've noticed that, like, the more, and we're going at the end of next week too, again for 2 weeks, and it's like. I'm so excited. I mean, it's 77 degrees is the high.
Good heavens. I saw that Facebook posting of yours about how a little log cabin and an old-fashioned pickup would suit you just fine,
Oh, my gosh. Like, literally, that is, like, my dream truck. It made me laugh because I'm like, well, the house kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
And the truck I still need, but, somebody wants to gift me one, I'm good.
Okay.
Anywhere from a 70s to 80s version of it. Yeah,
the 4 miles to the gallon kind of truck.
I love the way, but there's one sitting on the property right now. This is so random, but it doesn't belong to me anymore. It's been sold. They just haven't picked it up yet. But I went in it, and it just has that smell of that old truck. Like, it doesn't stink. It smells like that. You know what I'm talking about?
And it still has the AM radio with the knobs.
So nice. Yeah. I'm like,
does it have an 8-track player in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I had a car.
It's not a vehicle I have driven, and I really, hindsight, am wishing I hadn't traded. It was a trade thing.
Well, anyway, back to John.
Sorry.
Yeah, we get distracted pretty easily, John. He's a good
Old Pro Roofing.
He's a good sport. It's not a problem.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, okay.
Not about my opinion.
No. It's good. Also, thank you to our friend who will be here tomorrow, Jeff Kelly at the Withington Agency. We're going to talk about real estate and what's going on, the rates. You read all this stuff about what's going on home prices and whatnot. He'll give you the straight story, but I do know, even from just my vantage point, homes, they're in demand here in Burleson, to say the least. And boy, the growth that's going out west Burleson is going to be significant. So call him at 817-781-0546 if you're looking to buy or sell. Also, his office, 817 at the Withington Agency, 817-720-6300, or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com, and he'll set you right up. I've seen some of his homes. I've been sharing them on Facebook, and they're very nice. But I tell you what, one time, the way the houses go around here, there was a point that Rob and I thought about might move into the city or something like that. Never going to happen because it just, we have a pretty good location. and just houses are just more expensive. And that's just the way it is.
Yep.
So we renovated instead, and I'm still, taking therapy. It's they're saying I'm making progress. So that was
so funny.
That was 3 weeks of hell. And if she ever says that, let's do this again, I'm going to say, well, you and your next husband should have a lot of success. Okay, well, let's talk about Harvest House. I know you got things going on this summer and the fall. About the only time you already take a break is really in the wintertime, isn't it? In a sense. I mean, I know you got a lot of fundraisers. You got one coming in October.
I don't really think we ever take a break.
Oh, it's 365, is it?
Yeah.
Well, what's the most current thing going on with Harvest House?
So right now we're in the middle of our summer food program, which is going well. We've had some good support for it. So we're seeing a lot of families. It's where the kids get extra food. I mean, we serve the families like we always do, and then twice a month they can come back for a bag of food that's just really kid-friendly, so that while their kids are at home, they have food to eat.
So when you talk about kid-friendly, you're talking about like SpaghettiOs and macaroni and cheese and stuff like that?
That's a lot of what it is, but it's just anything a kid can really make by themselves.
Oh,
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
We sometimes have, I don't know what we have right now, but in the past we've done things like pizza rolls or, it's not always like the healthiest, but, we're looking for kids who are at home and can't necessarily, don't know really how to cook. And so we want to make sure that they can eat. And we have a lot of fruit and fresh salads and vegetables because, that's what my kids like to eat, or salads.
That's funny, though. You say, well, I could have SpaghettiOs or I could have this salad with the endive and Caesar salad. No, they're going to go for this, SpaghettiOs and the mac cheese.
You know what? My daughter would go for the salad.
Well...
My son, too. He would, when we go out to eat, he eats salmon and broccoli.
He's a health nut then. I hate salmon, by the way, but no.
What?
Yeah, I do. I don't like fish at all, but the only time I'll eat salmon is when Rob and I will go to Flying Fish, and they have like a one entree free thing, and she loves fish, so I'll get the salmon because I can handle that. The rest, I'm sure it's well prepared and it's delicious.
That's unfortunate for you.
But I hate fish. And that's
You're missing it out.
Yeah.
Halibut's so good. If you don't like fish, you might like halibut. You haven't tried it.
I thought I'd try the fish just for the halibut. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Where's the drum roll? Okay, fine. Anyway, there we go. Anyway, so a lot of other organizations like your friends over here at the House of Hope and over at Promises are also doing summer feeding programs. I know Crowley ISD and Burleson ISD at selected schools have lunch. The deal with them,
they're prepared.
They're prepared, and you eat it there. You don't take it home, which is, I understand. You can't just say prepare X amount of meals in an assumption that some will be taken home, because you'll have a lot of food waste that way. I get it.
Right.
But it is also a situation where they have to get there, and maybe they can't.
They do put it in the neighborhoods that have the highest need. I mean, they know those stats. And so, and it's close to the elementary schools. So the idea is that those elementary kids could hopefully get there. So
I know there's a program at Norwood over off Irene, and I can't remember the other schools. Taylor.
Yeah, I feel like this year it's just at Taylor. Wait, Norwood, I think also. Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, I could be wrong.
And there's 3 elementary schools in Crowley, but I'm not familiar with the Crowley ISD system. But our friend Elizabeth Becker can tell us about that.
Absolutely.
And we talk about what Promises they have to-go lunches and stuff like that.
Yep.
And because people don't realize in the summertime just what a food insecurity situation could arise when the schools aren't in.
It's a really big deal. And so even though we're all doing it, it's so needed. And that's, we're looking at, I was reading an article last night. A family in Texas on average has to make $107,000 to make it comfortably. There was a really cool article.
How large is family of 4?
Family of 4, sorry,
right.
Yes. So you think about that, and it, like a lot of the families that we serve, they're not anywhere near that. But so a lot of them are, working families. I know Lisa Schwartz was talking about that the other day. It's like, it's not that they're not working. It's not that they're not educated. It's not, I sometimes I don't really hang out in the pantry, but occasionally I'll run into somebody I know and I'm like, wow, I had no idea you were struggling. It's somebody I'm in networking with. It's somebody I'm in different groups or whatever. I mean, there's absolutely no judgment. I'm so glad they're coming because it's hard, especially if you're a small business owner or just a single parent.
Oh, yeah. Everybody at one point in their life is going to need what you're providing. And, you know, I look at my own life, how blessed I was. But when I was younger, you know, there were some times the food situation in my apartment got pretty slim, but I had parents still. I was in early to mid-20s, and I had parents. And I'd go over to my mom's house, and she'd make a roast more than we needed. Oh, you just take it home, you know, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they help out. But not everybody has that kind of support system of a family that can be a backstop in case things get kind of lean.
Absolutely.
You know, thanks be to the Lord, Robin and I, in our married life, and as we raise children, have never been in that situation. But we've had times when we like, okay, we got 5 more days and we don't get paid, and so we're going to scramble in the kitchen, and we're going to find out. Well, okay, it just doesn't normally go together. We're going to have lima beans and you know, breakfast sausage, you know that kind of thing.
Yep.
Just until 100%. We get paid, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but it is getting harder, no, for a lot of people. And one of the things I think is probably hard for a lot of people is to go to a pantry when they're used to being self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
You know, so is the reason why you don't go in the pantry because you don't want to encounter people that you might know?
No, I'm just busy.
Okay. All right.
Not at all. No, and I'll go volunteer in there if I can. And no, there's none of that. You know, I want people to know that we're glad they're there and that's why we're here and there's no judgment and it's great.
No, I would feel personally if my first option, if I were in that situation, if I had family, is to go to them, in part because I don't want to take food from somebody else. But if I were in a situation like I was here by myself and I had a kid, you betcha, I'd be using your service and I'd be using promises and whatnot. Oh, Alex Phillips says, good morning.
Good morning,
I need to
Alex.
get him back on the show sometime in July or early August because there's lots going on. So I'll be contacting you sometime soon, Alex. Be ready. But, you know, that pride factor is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And there's no shame in being in a situation not of your own making that you need help.
Well, but even sometimes it is your own making because you know what? Sometimes we make mistakes. And I think, and I don't want to stick to this because we have some other stuff going on, but like the reality is we've all done dumb things.
Boy,
and if, you know, and I think people feel like the culture holds them there and holds it against them a lot of times. You know, if you've ever got, you know, let's just be real. Half the population has done drugs, okay? Maybe more than that. So if you're the person who got addicted, why are you judged? You know, if you're trying to get clean or if you need help, alcoholism, all those things are the same thing, you know, and a lot of times people just need somebody to come in and say, look, we're going to walk with you. We're going to care about you. We're going to pray for you. We're going to stick with you and not judge you for it. We're going to help you. And that's what we want Harvest House to be about, is that we're helping regardless of what situation you're in, because a lot of times people want out and they don't know how to get out, which is you know, we actually have a new program we're going to start at the first of the year. And it's called Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By World. It's a part of the AHA process, which is Ruby Payne, who's a big, life changer in the social work field, but really helping people understand. She has a book called Bridges Out of Poverty, and a lot of other stuff. But the program itself is about helping people to become self-sufficient in a very dignified way.
I've read Ruby Payne for the impact that poverty has on education. I forget the title, but about 15 years ago, you know, BISD usually gives a summer reading, and that was one of them that particular summer. And normally summer reading is a beat down and all this, a lot of jargon and a lot of, you know, studies and all this other stuff. But Ruby Payne's was written in a way that you could understand it. You know, it's
really interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't written like a psychiatrist or whatever. Oh, you said you got other things going on, so...
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we are preparing for. So we are going to need some support for that because it's really a community program. I'll talk about it next time I come, but that's just kind of my planting the seed. If you're interested in learning more, reach out to me at jennifer@yourharvesthouse.org or give me a call. Love to talk to you about what it entails, what kind of engagement we need from the community. Because really, as we come into August, actually, we're going to start it at the parade because we will be at the parade, and we're going to be handing out just some teasers. It's The Power of One is our new campaign. And what this campaign is about is $1, one purpose, one community equals big change. And if you scan that QR code, it's going to show you, we're just asking you for $1.
Will you take two?
We'll take two, but we're only asking for $1, okay? But really, we want people to be thinking, you've heard me say this before, if you give me $1, I can buy a can of ravioli and I can feed someone, okay? Mm-hmm. If you and Taylor give me $1, that's $2, and I can buy two, and I might be able to feed them for a whole day, okay?
Yeah.
And if we, as a community, come together and everybody gives $1, we can change our community. We have big change in supporting this community.
Well, let me, on behalf of this show and Taylor, give the first $2.
Yay!
Right
Woo-hoo!
there. All right.
That's awesome. Yeah. It is. It's the power of what.
That's a very painless contribution.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And people think, I can't make a difference if I can't give you big money. But the reality is, everybody doing their small part. This is an example financially, but it's volunteering. It's picking up the piece of trash, in Vera Calvin Park. See, I'm looking at it right behind you. It's, if it's being kind to the person next to you that maybe is grumpy. So instead of lashing out and being mean or ugly, or if somebody's cutting you off in the road, just let them go. There's so many things we can do that are small that make a big impact and a big change in our community. So our shirts really are about it. We're going to have some really cool shirts made. We're working with, I can never say the word, so I'm going to come back to it as I, the name is, anyway, sorry. I'll come back to it in a second. But we're working with a group in the community, because this is the other thing we're working on, Mike Wind. It's Perpetua Advisors. Sorry, it just took me a second to get it in my head. But they're helping us out with this. And Mike Wind is the son-in-law of Gary Metzner, and he was one of the founders of Harvest House.
Really?
And so what we're trying to do, and what the Power of One is kind of kicking off, is it's our 40th anniversary. October will be 40 years technically. And we're going to be having our Harvest Brunch November 7th, and we're looking for people. I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but it really all goes together. But we're looking for those folks who were a part of, or their family was a part of, creating Harvest House, because the same thing happened back then in 1984, is that a bunch of individuals said, "What, we can do better together." And it's the power of one. And Harvest House was created as the power of one. We continue as the power of one, meaning when we collectively come together and we all do our part, we make a big change in our community. I know Alex is a big proponent of that in all that he talks about with our small businesses and our big businesses. They all matter. And so that's what we're focusing on as we go into the fall, is how can we engage the community, especially people who are founders. Let's listen to their stories. Let's re-engage and see if we can. It's been really fun looking through historical documents and understanding. I was really excited to understand that in the very first, the mission of Harvest House is very close to exactly what we're doing now. Like, with all the different directors and with all the different mission statements and programs and things throughout the year, when you look at that initial statement, and when I came to Harvest House, I didn't really know as much about it getting started, and so it was kind of we just kept going. But the Holy Spirit has kept, and God has protected the mission of this place so well that we're still doing what the initial intent was. It's very exciting.
So you're going to make shirts. You next time you come, bring me one. I like to wear it. I like to get T-shirts from the various events.
All right.
Extra large, double extra large, if you will, because I like to.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll see you at the parade.
All right. Marty Matheny, according to Alex Phillips here, Marty Matheny had me volunteering at Harvest House when I was in junior high.
Yeah. See, Alex, we're going to be pulling you in. I know we've reached out to the Matheny family and have made some connections there. I know there's a lot of other people too. So I'll be reaching out
Was
to
the mayor one of the founders? I know he's been involved with y'all for a long time.
No, he's not.
Well, but I know he.
He's very passionate about Harvest House,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
But some of the founders were Bob Massey, Barry. Oh, what's his last name? Starts with an S.
Swindoll?
Yes, Barry
Okay, yeah,
Swindoll.
I know-
He was with First Baptist, right?
No, he doesn't. But I know his wife. I worked with his wife, Kathy, at BHS for
Okay.
many, many years.
Barry
Taught his son
Swindoll.
and daughter. Yeah.
Some of the names aren't really familiar to me.
Swindoll was a youth minister at another church in town.
Okay, yeah, but I know that that's kind of, those are a couple of the names, and I'm definitely connected with Bob Massey and some of the others. So it's going to be an exciting thing to, especially Alex, who knows everybody.
Everybody
to help it,
and
just give him my email and have him reach out to me, because it'll be nice to connect and just hear some stories. I don't know, a lot of people know this. I don't know if you saw the Burleson Now ad for the dad bods and the work that they do.
Oh boy.
They crack me up. So the Booze Vikings, they are such a great group of guys, and what they're gonna. I'm reaching out to Clayton Singleton about that, but like a lot of, I think 80% of the guys in that group grew up as kids who were helped by Harvest House, and so that's why they're so passionate about giving back to us, doing the dad bod car washes and stuff like that. And they're just trying to do something fun. And I just appreciate that they're like, look, we can do something bigger for something that helped us get to where we are today.
Well, when I drove by them, I think it was about a month ago, and they're in their boots and cut-off jeans and waving signs, I thought, wow.
That takes a lot of guts.
It does. Yeah, it does. And
They raised like $1,250 plus food.
Me.
But, they're just having fun, and I appreciate them so much and just their passion. They do it 2-3 times a year, and they've created something that was just a fun thing for these guys to do, and they're giving back. And so I think that's what it takes. It's everybody doing their small part, and it makes a big difference. So
now, y'all used to do the Little Red Schoolhouse, but you're not really doing that as a program, but you still will take supplies for school supplies.
So we're
kids.
not doing our big program of Little Red Schoolhouse this year. Just like many others, there's a lot. Most of the schools now do some sort of drive, and it just has been too much competition. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I feel like the communities the schools and the different groups are taking care of their community, which I think is how it needs to be. We will still help our clients like we have always done, and they get 3 free outfits in the store. And so we did give that to them a little bit early, so they have all summer to shop for that. If we get backpacks and school supplies, they will be in the resale store, but they won't be for sale. They will be part of the client vouchers. So if a backpack comes in full of supplies, we will set that aside. We will not sell it for cash, and it will just be given to our clients. We're just doing it kind of more on an ongoing, based on what we have. But our biggest focus is, we feed, clothe, and restore. And so our big focus is making sure that those kids have clothes, and sticking really close to our mission with that. And if we have the other items, we will definitely share and give to our community, because that's obviously our focus is helping.
And I don't know if you know this, but do these backpacks have to be clear, or because
Not in Burleson.
Not in Burleson. Okay.
I believe Everman does, and that isn't. But Everman usually does a really big program that helps their community, and that is one of the communities we serve.
I was just wondering, because I know other school districts mandate that if you bring a backpack in, it has to be a clear backpack. And that's the same thing with many other places now, other than just schools.
Yeah, I know. I went to Dos Equis for a concert.
Right.
Yeah, had to have a clear bag.
Same with like sporting events. If you want to go to the ball game, go to Globe Life or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Even the Railroaders was required clear.
Which we will be discussing at the end of the show, because y'all were part of it too.
On Saturday
night. We'll talk about that.
That was fun.
But as far as school supplies, when I was a little kid, we'd get this list, and my mom would take me to the, to the local dime store, whatever, and we'd fill it up and get the paste and get the little projector and get the little compass and all this other stuff. Maybe they were doing it back then, but I never noticed. But now, it does seem like it's a much more prominent part of the schools is to be involved in these kind of charitable outreaches. Not just the lunches and all that, but also I know I believe it's Everman High School has like a place once a month where like a food pantry.
They do.
Yeah.
And we actually have an office right next to that that we go on Thursdays. So Thursdays from, I want to say it's 10 to 12, we are in Everman, making sure that they know we're there. It's been a really huge blessing to us, partnering with Everman. That's been one of the longtime communities that we've served. And there's just a really great need there, and we want to make sure we're taking care of them.
I wonder if BHS or Centennial or any other schools, BISD, is going to emulate that. I think it's a good idea. You know, a lot of people say, well, that's not the purpose of schools. Well, schools have much more of a purpose that expands beyond just 3 R's than we did back when we were kids.
Right.
Okay. That's just the reality of it. You know, for a lot of kids, the schools are the only place that they have a secure meal or any kind of semblance of somebody in the health professions to take a look at them and see what's the matter if they're sick. And you know, most people I know are good with that. There's a couple of cranks out there, but there's always going to be cranks. But most of the people I know expect this now from our schools. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a lot of dust. Anyway, that was nice snort for the. I know. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the fall, I know you have your banquet, I guess. Your
Harvest brunch.
Yeah, the brunch. And that's in early October, is it not?
November 7th.
November 7th. Okay, I thought it was like October 7th.
Well, it's moved around over the last couple of years, but I think we're going to stick with early November. Last year it was early November as well.
And that's one of your biggest events, right?
It's kind of changed a little
really?
bit. Yeah,
Really?
so it's our brunch. So this year it's going to be really a lot of focusing. I mean, it's free tickets with an opportunity to give. And then this is where we're really going to be focusing on our 40th anniversary and sharing the story and the history of Harvest House. Yes, it is a fundraiser. We are going to make an ask. And we do hope it is our biggest fundraiser. But this year we really, it's about even greater engagement, volunteering. How can you help? What are some different ways we can work together as a community to continue to keep Harvest House strong as the essential organization that I believe it is in this community?
Well, Harvest House is probably, is it the first charitable outfit like this Burleson ever had? I mean, I'm not that clear on Burleson history, but I think it's the longest running.
As far as like pantries and stuff go, I do believe so. I mean, don't quote me on it. I didn't live here then.
Neither did I.
They took a lot of this. The whole thing was that when they started Harvest House, they created the Burleson Ministerial Alliance Auxiliary, and they wanted to stop the duplication of services and being able to put all of the resources in one benevolence ministry. And so that's how Harvest House got created. And so a lot of the other ones, all the other ones stopped. So the idea was to have one pantry and then create a place where all the financial help. It was interesting because, you know, we talk about homeless a lot, and there was a big focus on transients. I mean, they called them transients at the time. But I think that surprised me a little bit. You know, we talk about it now, but, you know, I guess in every community that's always something. And I wasn't here back then. I'm real curious, but that was a big focus. The other question I have, and Alex, you may know the answer to this. They said they shared their property with a women's shelter. And I'm like, what happened to the women's shelter?
Yeah,
I can't find anything about what happened to this women's shelter. I went and looked at the Family Crisis Center of Johnson County. It looks like they started around the same time, but they're, at least on the surface, just my very basic looking, they don't look like they were connected. They started about the same time, but I don't know. So really curious about what happened to that. And is that the Johnson County Family Crisis Center, or was it something different? That's my one big, like, I haven't found that information yet.
Well, but you see a lot of these situations. Do we need a women's shelter in Burleson? I mean, do a lot of your clients come in and they're single moms and they may have a very acrimonious relationship with the father of their children?
There's a lot of domestic violence in our community.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Do we need something like that?
Yes.
Okay. I think so, too. And I know the closest place here is One Safe Place. That's in Fort Worth.
No, it's Johnson County Family Crisis Center.
Oh, where is that at?
Joshua,
okay. Alex Phillips, I believe it was there, but was not widely known. Okay. I I advocate for that. Now I know there's some people say we need like a homeless shelter. That's a different problem and very problematic in some ways.
We would refer people to the Family Crisis Center. I mean, with all the places like that, it's all about space. Unfortunately, I mean, these are whether it's homelessness or domestic violence. Crazy was talking about it. There's different. There's just a lot of need for because somebody coming out of domestic violence could be okay if they could afford housing.
Right.
And so really we're in a housing crisis more than anything else affordable housing crisis, because it's just hard to find affordable housing in a reputable place. Now I was surprised because a friend of mine moved into those apartments across from in Old Town. Those new ones, I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, the depot?
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying they're inexpensive, but I figured they'd be a lot more than that. I was really surprised by that. So it's kind of on that verge of I think a lot of people could afford it. And that surprised me because it looks kind of more luxurious and stuff. So,
Taylor's checked them out. Are they? What's your opinion?
I didn't end up moving there, but they're nice.
Yeah. You moved to a place nearby.
We're not going to say.
No. Here's your address. Here's his phone number. Anyway, so
whoa.
Let's let everybody hunt down Taylor.
Taylor Perky, and then you go. Come
I'll
by
share his
2
address
a.m.
later.
Anyways,
Poor Taylor.
We're going to dox.
Yeah,
Is it dox? Is that what we're doing here? I'm so in hip. I don't know these terms. I'm doxing them, I guess.
What?
I have no idea what that word means.
I don't either.
That's what apparently somebody told me. You call out their address and phone number to.
Oh, that would make sense. Docs. Yeah.
To set them up for harassment. They do this to politicians and stuff like that.
Well, that's not very nice of you.
Yeah, whatever. Everybody knows it. Anyway, back to the important stuff.
Yes. But I think our community it needs that, and I think and all I can talk about is Harvest House because there's a lot of great organizations. We really, as nonprofit leaders, I can say Lisa Schwartz, Megan Swearingen, Lisa Boltinghouse, me, and Debbie, and even Elizabeth here at Crowley House of Hope. We talk a lot. Maybe not all of us together, but the different groups like the pantries. And then, how do we collaborate to help our community be stronger? That's been a really strong conversation among us recently. I'm actually meeting with the Lisas, Lisa Boltinghouse and Lisa Schwartz. And I just want everybody to know I fit in that group because that's my middle name. So I get to go too. But we're having the Lisa's lunch today. But that's part of what we're doing is try to encourage and support each other, but also how do we collaborate? Because while we do different things, our ultimate goal is a stronger community and stronger citizens being independent, whether they're from the Center of ASD and have different abilities. We all have different abilities. So it's how do we strengthen all people to become the best adults they can be and the best citizens of our community? And so it's been really fun and exciting. We've been doing that a lot more the last 6 months, especially. Because we need to and we want to, because we really enjoy working with each other, and we know that together we're better.
Well, I'm looking forward to the September date, North Texas Giving Day.
Yeah.
And Lisa asked me after the show.
Which Lisa?
Schwartz.
Sorry.
She asked me after the show, we're going to do that post-show, what we did last year. We all got together and talked and we recorded it. And so, yes, absolutely. It was one of the best shows I think we did because we watched y'all pass the mic around and how genuine y'all were and supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And I just don't know you see that in any other community. I'm sure there's some others that have good people working there too, but I think Burleson's particularly blessed.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and I don't know, we don't take that for granted. Because,
even in our area. I mean, and I'm not saying anything bad about any other, the Alvarados, Joshua's, all that. I'm sure they have, I don't work in them quite as deeply, but I don't see the same thing I see here in Burleson.
Well, and I know there's a food pantry in Joshua, and I've talked to them before.
The First United Methodist?
Right, and they had the same stories that y'all did about food given. Now, last time we talked, you said the people of Burleson really stepped up with the food giving, but you're talking about the financial end. All of y'all or I wouldn't say struggling, but it is a daily thing almost.
It's definitely a thing that, like, I would say all of us, and I've talked to everybody, we're okay. But if the trend keeps the way it is, we won't be.
Right.
I mean, we're talking 6 months a year. We can't sustain where it is right now. Like, I think all of us have, looked at reserves and we've looked at all those things. But we cannot continue to do exactly what we're doing if giving doesn't change.
Right. I was talking with Lisa Schwartz last week, and she's having to repurpose some of her programs just to stay afloat. There's some of the spaces are going to go back to some of their prospective clients and say, look, we can give you housing under these certain circumstances, even if you don't have the same kind of counseling needs as our other clients. Okay, and so I'm not saying it's wide open, because they have a list to draw from to maybe fill the spaces, but that's because of the living cost. But it also has to do with the fact that that financially they are struggling, and so is every program you want to talk about here in town. And I'm not going to get into the politics of it. I'll save that for later. But it is tough. It is tough to do, because for one thing, we know the need is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And the money, they talk about, well, income is up. Well, so are prices and everything else. And
not everybody's income is up. That's the other thing. Like, that's not an across the board thing. And so there's some new rules. Here's a little side note that I don't know if everybody knows. So July 1st, anybody who is an exempt staff person is getting a raise. Legally, they have to, and it's a big one. And then January 1st, they have to get another one. So
when you talk about exempt staff person,
an exempt staff person, like, I'm an exempt staff person.
Okay.
I'm not hourly. I might work 80 hours a week. I might, whatever. I don't get paid extra over 40 hours. They're changing that. I can't remember what the number is. And here's how it's going to impact small businesses and nonprofits.
So this is not just specific to Harvest House.
Oh, no, this is the Department of Labor changed this like 2 months ago. So we just found out. That's the other thing. We just found out late April. And so people who are maybe in managerial positions that might normally be exempt, because they might work more than 40 hours and stuff, now have to get paid overtime. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying they gave us 2 months notice, and then in 6 months, it's going to go up. I think everybody who's exempt has to be over 58,000. And you look at...
Wait a minute. They're mandating a minimum annual salary?
Yes, and they did this a few years ago, but we had time and whatever. And I'm not trying to be political about it. The reality is it just is. But the Department of Labor made this change. And so nonprofits... So what's going to happen is people who are hourly, it'll cut back on how much they can actually work. So, like, my people won't be able to, work more than 40 hours more often than not, just because we're just gonna have to control it a lot more, because the expense is quite different. And so it's gonna be manageable, but it's gonna be an impact, because it jumped, I think it was like 10,000 in July or 8,000, something like that. And then it's going up another whole bunch. I have the numbers here if you actually want to see it, but it's just something that nonprofits and real small businesses are going to be impacted by the most. If you have a manager, because most managers, you have to make a reasonable salary. And I'm 100% on board with it. I understand the concept. It's just the timing and with the economy the way it is, it's really hard to track that. So there will be businesses that are even impacted by that more. So just be aware of that.
Well,
if prices go up at your small businesses in the next 6 months, that's why, because they're being legislated to pay higher. And there's the two sides of it. Like, we want livable wages, and I think we actually, I feel like in many of our positions have gotten to a really good livable wage, but it's taken 8 years to get there. That's our goal, is to get everybody who's working at Harvest House eventually in a very good livable wage. And I think the other nonprofits are in that way too, but it takes time to grow that, and it takes funding and things like that. So It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting. So just know that your nonprofits are going to be challenged with that as well. That'd be like their executive directors and things like that.
Well, I could think of several people that have been on the show that have, they don't do this for the money. They do it for, other purposes, to serve and to, help people and things like that. And I would hate to think that y'all's programs are going to be impacted by government mandates. I just,
Yeah, it's
all right, again,
kinda crazy.
I'm the politics I'll save for later, but boy,
you can talk about it another day.
another day. Let's talk about baseball. That's always nice.
Okay,
right?
let's go. So we went to the Railroaders game, which they were the Cleburne Hawks that night because
Yeah.
it was a throwback night. So we were like, what? So we're having to yell, "Go Hawks" and stuff. My son threw out one of the first pitches. I guess they had a couple first pitches.
Yeah, I know.
But that was fun. And they told us that we brought in the top number of tickets sold for the event for our nonprofit day. So that was exciting. And they're going to continue this. This was the first year. So, there's some learning and stuff, but it was really successful, very fun. Loved being able to just tell people about Harvest House who are in Cleburne, who may not know about us. They come from all over. So that was really fun.
Well, Kay Goodell will be on the show a week from tomorrow, and she's going to be on again late July. We got her scheduled like 3 times in the summer.
Nice.
And it's always a good show, because the Railroaders have really been impressed with how they've reached out to the nonprofits and other community
Absolutely.
parts of the community. First Responders Night, and then they have one July 4th, coming up next week with
Crazy Eight.
Crazy Eights, yes. And they have fireworks and all that. And when I have Summer Garcia on Thursday, we're going to run that first pitch she had on her night, the 4 bouncer to the plate, just.
Here, I'm going to send this to Taylor.
There she is again.
Wait, let me watch it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Boom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm sending this to you, Taylor, in a second. It's my son. This is why I have my son do it, so I didn't look like that.
Oh, well.
I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, because it's like, it's fun. I mean, isn't it all about being fun?
Yeah, she laughed about it, and I told Megan that I'd shown it, and they were good sports. It's funny, you watch some of the first pitches coming out, like in the major league games, and they have like a basketball player or something like that, and they do the same thing. They're so used to,
100%.
They tank it or something like that, or they're so afraid of throwing it over their head that
it's nerve-wracking being in front of all those people.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. And so we're gonna have. I don't have the schedule. I'm gonna talk to Kay. I didn't get it this morning, but I'm gonna get the schedule on. So because I know they're still in town for this week, and they got games, and they always do things every week. Every game night, like Thirsty Thursday and Wiener Wednesday and things like that. Alex says we need a Bull Durham first pitch where it hits the mascot. Yes, that's a great movie. It really is. Not family appropriate in some ways, but still.
That's funny.
But we'll have Kay on, I believe, not just next Tuesday, but I think like July 25th or something like that. And they're going to have all sorts of stuff going on. I need to get
I can't
the
send it to
schedule.
him. I have to be on Wi-Fi, so sorry.
Okay, and do it? Oh.
No, because it has to be on Wi-Fi. And, we don't have
Yeah, okay.
It would have been fun. Look at my Facebook page.
Look at the Facebook page. Well, we're getting close to the end. So as far as how people can help, you're talking about this Power of One. You could have a QR code or something like that for $1?
It was on there. Yep, it's on there.
It's on there.
Here's what's going to happen. Right now, we are recruiting businesses. Anybody who has a business of any kind, if you have a register where people come up and make a sale, we're going to have jars that we're going to hand out the 31st and 1st of August that we would love to have you put out just for people to put their coins in. We have a QR code if you want to hang up a sign. We're going to be canvassing Burleson soon. But if you want to participate, email Amber, AMBERC, at yourharvesthouse.org and say, hey, I want a coin jar and or a sign, and we will get that for you. So that's what we're in the process of doing.
Don't most of the restaurants and retailers and all that, aren't they usually pretty receptive to that kind of thing?
Yeah, because it's only for a week. This is literally from August 2nd to August 9th. Gina's and our place will all for sure have them there. Of course. I talked to Otto about it last night. He's like, absolutely, because he's such an amazing supporter of our community and our nonprofits.
Right.
So, just check out your local store. Hopefully, we're going to get yeses from just about everybody, because we really want to capture also not just those who live here, but those who work here and those who play here, and those who love being in Burleson. Just
I'm quite sure Wild Sakara will be on board. They do those kind of things.
Yep, they're really good to Harvest House too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I really can't think of anybody who's going to say no.
All right. Well,
So on those days, please be checking out. We're going to have, you know how they had the elf that moved around town?
Yeah.
We have a dollar bill, so you can do selfies if you go somewhere. That's going to be moving around town also during that time. We're getting that made by Dynamic Graphics, so that's fun. They're so great to work with. Yeah, lots of good things. Excited about it because really, to me, the goal is about community awareness, that everybody can do a small part to make a huge change in our community.
You know, I could think of several businesses right off the top of my head. I'd be more than glad to do it. I'm sure City Market will be on board, and Old South, and probably Texas
So Kurt
Bar,
was one of the two other people. Kurt Jagger and Art Brooks were two people who were also part of the beginnings of Harvest House.
Really, Art's been around that long, has he?
He's been around 40-something years. Remember, because he opened his office. He had an anniversary a couple of years ago. I bet it's been 42 years-ish.
It's funny because I see him every now and then. I run across him. He's always out and about, and he's quite the character.
He's funny.
Yeah. Well,
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, there are a lot of good people that step up.
So if you know somebody, Brad, just go ahead and send me their emails or contacts, and I'll reach out to them, or my team will.
Or I'll give them to Jimmy Gibson, who's now part of our BNI group.
Absolutely, you can do that tomorrow.
You know, it's Wednesday actually.
I'm sorry, on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And when he gets his turn to get up and say what's going on, that's what he's there for, to promote these kind of things.
Yep.
You know, and so you'll get some response.
I think we will too. I'm excited about it. Again, it's about the community. And, you know, yes, it's going through Harvest House, but it's about really doing that so that we can help us all be better.
But before you leave, we're going to get you scheduled. Now, you say this starts on August 2nd, and see what my schedule. I got 2-3 dates prior to that. July is filling up a little bit. I'm
going to be gone the first half of July, so hopefully it's the second half.
Yeah, yes, it's the second half. Yeah, my next open date's the 18th. But
I will not be here yet. I will still be out of town. So
23rd and
23rd is perfect.
There you go. And 9 o'clock again.
9 a.m. is so good.
How about that, Taylor? You like 9 o'clock? Do you?
I believe the 23rd I'll be out of town, but I'll have somebody running the show.
That's
so
right.
they'll be happy with it.
Are you sure that you get this guy?
Yeah.
All right. He's going to be out of town, but he's got his own little minions that he's training.
Good for you.
Yeah. He's just getting that big.
Yep.
I love it.
Me too. On the schedule on July 23rd. There you
July
go.
23rd, 9 a.m. Look at that. It's there.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. I know some nights you must wake up and think, I don't know where it's going to come from, but it has to come from somewhere, and then somewhere it comes from, right?
It does. You know, the thing that, just like I was telling you, God has protected the mission of Harvest House and protected Harvest House through all the ups and downs. And this is Jesus's place. And we serve absolutely everybody, regardless of your background, your anything, your religion. We don't care. We want to serve you, but God has protected this place to be provided for. We've never run out, and I believe we never will, because it's not about me, it's not about my team, it's about this community, and Jesus loves this community.
He really must, because we have been blessed with people like yourself and others have been on the show and others that work out there without any publicity at all, and so thank you for that. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
All right, and
Bye,
we'll
Alex
see y'all
Phillips.
tomorrow. Yeah, bye, Alex. Thank you for your input. I always enjoy that. We'll be talking to Jeff Kelly tomorrow about real estate, and then
Nice.
Megan and Summer about Next Step, and they may have the same stories you have. I did not know about the Department of Labor ruling. That's
Well, I hope everybody knows, because we happen to know, because my staff was going through an HR training at the time. So
oh well.
anyway,
I'll yell about that some other time.
yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
Bye. Have a
Y'all
good week.
Take care of yourselves.